from the stands. Pure Coys, everybody raise your hands. Pure Coys, pure Coys, pure Coys.
Hello there, welcome to Pure Coys. Just come on to do a quick Forest debrief. And I've got three very attractive guests with me. First up, the Spurs DANalyst. How you doing, Dan?
Big up Nige, big up Karl, big up Mark, big up to everyone in the chat. Hope everybody's keeping well and had a great Christmas. Look, we thought we'd jump on, have a little debrief of the game yesterday. So yeah, look, let's get into it, guys.
And hello, Karl. How you doing? You had a good Christmas?
Yeah, good Christmas. Apart from obviously football aside, Christmas has been good. Yeah, I mean, we've been giving out plenty of presents as a football club, haven't we? But yeah, other than that, yeah, can't moan, to be honest. Got, pants and socks as needed after 12 months of going through the others. So yeah, it's been good, mate.
Nice. And of course, the Sheriff. How you doing, mate?
All's good, mate. All's good. Had a great Christmas. Ate too much, drank too much. I think everybody does that. The socks are topped up and the boxer shorts are topped up for the next year. Links Africa. The normal stuff.
Well, thank you very much. And if you could like and sub to all of our channels, that would be amazing. I've put all the links in the chat and I'll hand you over to Dan.
Well, really, really terrible day yesterday. Bad performance from Spurs. I mean, I expected to lose. That performance yesterday, it's just really concerning with the attacking output in that game. I thought was a problem. We just didn't. It always comes back to our wingers, doesn't it? Like I've been saying since the summer, we need a one-on-one specialist winger. Son doesn't offer that much anymore. Johnson doesn't either. And look, we really struggled to break down Nottingham Forest. Their fullbacks very defensively good. They sat deep, played us on the counter attack. And we just lacked that spark in that final third. All the possession, but with little output in the end. So, guys, what did you make of that performance?
It was pants, wasn't it? Yeah, like as you say, to be honest. I mean, I think we all went. I don't know if there was any Spurs fans going into that game confident that we'd get a win, because if there were, then you sort of think, well, I'll have some of what they're drinking. Wasn't confident going into it, given the way Forest have had their season. They're well drilled defensively, have been all season. And again, like as you said, Dan, when you consider what we've got in terms of creative players in that front three now, you kind of think, yeah, I didn't fancy us. I fancied us to score one maybe, but thought we'd concede 2 or 3. But yesterday we didn't even look like scoring. And I have to say that the funniest thing for me was watching the commentary, because I don't know if you guys picked up on it, but in those early sort of 10, 15 minutes, Johnson had a couple of runs maybe where, he got fouled once or twice. And the commentator just kept going, wow, this is a thing with Johnson. He's dangerous in these one-on-one positions and Forest don't want to let him get the ball. And you're just thinking, what Johnson are you guys been watching? Because that's not the Johnson I know. He's not a threat. He's not dangerous. If you're a defender, you're not worried about him, because he doesn't take people on, doesn't have no creativity. People tell me he's quick. I've never seen it. I've never seen him roast a defender where you go, oh my God, he's rapid, this bloke. And like as you say, Son on the other side, both our wingers do exactly the same thing. Get the ball and look backwards straight away. The first thing they do, pick the ball up, turn back, look for the fullback or look for the pass inside to the midfielder. None of them get the ball and straight away think, now I'm going to drive this bloke into the box, try and take him on, drop a shoulder, change, feint, where am I going? It's so easy to mark. And like I say, Solanke was trying to do his best holding the ball up, but there's just nothing up in that front three at the moment. And the midfield didn't have any creativity about it either. And yeah, to be honest, Forest, deserved the win in the end. And it's just another performance that puts the question marks over the manager, isn't it? And I think it's only really that League Cup victory over Man United that's keeping him in a job at the moment, if I'm honest.
Oh yeah, it was a horrible performance, wasn't it? It was just lacking any creative spark there. And I look at Nottingham Forest, like I've had a look at the attacking momentum of the game, and if you look at that, you think, well, Spurs have played really well, but they barely attacked at all. Barely attacked. I don't know if anyone's had a look at it on SofaScore. You know, you look at that and you think, blimey, we've played really well, but we didn't. I think Nottingham Forest, they're just so organised, so defensively well set up. Their defence, and especially the right back, he bullied Son, didn't he? Absolutely bullied him. Kicked him
to
off
be honest,
the park.
To be honest, we got schooled by a manager that was run out of our club, basically.
Mm.
He was hounded out. You know, like, I think we had about 65, 70% of the ball.
70%, yeah.
Yeah, and what did we actually do with it? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing, because they were set up, they were well drilled. He even went from a back four, they got 1-0 up, he went to a back five, so he adapted and sat in, right? And basically, Nuno schooled the almighty Ange. You know, like, what more can this manager do before fans have had enough of him?
It was just a nothing performance, wasn't
No,
it? Like it was just so boring. I was
we could have still been playing now, and we still wouldn't have scored.
I was nodding off.
No, we could have had 24 hours extra time, and we still wouldn't have scored.
True. I said that. Yeah.
It's a weird one though, because I actually thought we started quite brightly. First 10 minutes, we created a few half chances.
Yeah.
And I thought, I was sat with my son, I'm like, well, we might win this. We started all right, because usually you can tell within the first 10 minutes what Spurs are going to turn up. But I actually thought, you know, Sonny missed a good chance when he should have probably passed it. We got into a few good positions. And I thought we might do okay. But Forest, as soon as Forest broke away and scored that goal, that was it. They controlled the game. They didn't even need to get out of third gear, I don't think.
Let's break that goal down, guys. Karl, what was your view on that goal?
It's just sloppy, isn't it? And again, for me, it was just a typical Spurs goal. Too many men committed forward, leaving yourselves vulnerable at the back. And ultimately, they broke with pace, you know, and they've got those wingers that can do that. You know, Hudson-Odoi, they're very direct. And obviously, Elanga, who scored the goal again, is another one of those wingers that, again, very direct, lots of pace. And they do have pace that you go, well, once they get going, look at this. And yeah, just again, a sloppy goal. And it kind of reminds you of that third Liverpool goal, doesn't it? Just before half time, where you go, listen, you've committed too many men forward here. And if what happens and the ball gets turned over, now you're in trouble. Now you've got sort of like 4 herring down on 3 at the back. And yeah, these are just the goals. And these are the sort of problems you have with Ange's system, in that fact that he doesn't seem to be noticing we're costing ourselves here, because we're just committing far too many men forward in situations where you go, if we lose the ball here, we're bang in trouble. And that was another goal. I mean, it's a great finish. You can't knock the guy, you know, the pass into the box is a great pass. It's, you know, Maddison-esque sort of pass, isn't it? Who, you know, I can't believe was left out yesterday, given the form that he's been in recently, Maddison. And yeah, great finish from the lad to slide it past. And like, as you say, from that moment on, I think Forest knew that's it. Game won, because we can control these guys. But sloppy goal, but we're just seeing them far too often now, that sort of goal.
Yeah, look, I just think when you mentioned Maddison there, Karl, it was a game where we were crying out for creativity, wasn't it? Look, we had all the ball, so why not put another creative midfielder in there to unlock that Nottingham Forest defence? Solanke had no service. People said he had a poor game. He didn't have a great game, did he? But where were the balls into the box? You know, sometimes we just need to get it out wide, whip them balls in, and it can create a goal. It can create a chance. You know, it could get punched out by the goalie, headed away. We just didn't get that ball in the box crosswise. Did anyone else notice that?
Yeah, Yeah, we just don't do that. Now, when Solanke was at Bournemouth, a lot of his goals come from crosses in the box, and he stuck his head on it. Has he scored a header for us yet? I can't remember one if he has.
He missed that one against Roma, didn't he? Which he should
Yeah.
have buried. But then
Yes.
the couple, a week or so before that, the goal against Chelsea was because we decided to sling a ball into the box, didn't he? That
Yeah.
he managed to get in front of his
Yeah.
defender. And we're not playing to his strengths.
No.
I think obviously the trouble with Solanke is he's not, because he's not Harry Kane. Harry Kane didn't have great games sometimes, but he was drop back, pick the ball up, and ping passes to other players to bring them into the game, create a goal. And, you kind of knew he'd offered you a lot more. Solanke doesn't offer you that sort of thing up front, does he? He's trying to hold it up. He needs to thrive off of crosses into the box, which we don't do. And outside of that, he doesn't have that sort of overall game to drop deeper and bring others into it, unfortunately. So I think he stands out even more when he's not scoring than you are asking, well, what is he doing outside of that?
Yeah.
Look, I'm looking at his heat map for the game. He's all over the pitch, hardly up front. Yeah, there's a little bit of red up front, but he needs to stick in that box, doesn't he? Yeah, Kulusevski was some points looked further ahead than him, didn't he, at times?
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. Anyone who comes in after Harry, they're sort of cursed anyway. It's sort of like when Sir Alex left Man United. The next Man United manager was always cursed. I mean, you never ever, no one, I don't care who it is, they're never ever going to replace Harry's work rate, his goal scoring, what he did for the team. It's like Karl said, he used to drop back. And Harry could create goals as well. You know what I mean? He'd feed, was it when we played Southampton? Son had 4 and Harry had 4 assists. That's the sort of player he was. So, anyone who comes in after Harry is sort of cursed anyway, in my opinion.
Look, I just think it was. Sorry, Nige, go on. You were going to say something.
That's all right. No, I was just going to say, I just don't think we get, even when we have chances, I don't think we have players in the box.
No.
I don't think Solanke gets in the box enough. I think he's too busy outside the box. I don't think Sonny attacks the back post when the ball's crossed in. Kulu doesn't. He always stands on the edge of the box. So, the only person who really crosses it is Johnson. He always crosses it low. There's no variation. It's always a low immediate cross. And there's no one in the box when he does cross it anyway. That's my issue.
It's very one-dimensional, our attacking play, isn't it? Unless we've got a bit of space, it's not very inventive, is it? It's very basic.
Considering we're meant to be this wonderful attacking team, you sort of look and think, I don't see this attacking football. We don't open teams up on a regular basis, do we? Where we're creating chances left, right, and centre. But people are under this myth that Ange ball is this mega attacking, exciting football to watch. And you sort of go, it is if you've got a team that are prepared to come and play, tactical suicide and play a massive high line and give Son and Johnson that room to run in behind them, possibly. But if you've got a team that know and they're defensively drilled on, listen, we just need to do this, nullify that threat. They'll give you opportunities up top by committing too many men forward. Just wait your time. This doesn't work. Ange ball only works if you've got teams that are prepared, like Man City. They're not scared of anyone, so they're prepared to play their game. High line, have lots of the ball, leave open spaces. They're not going to man mark someone like Maddison or someone like that in midfield, so they'll give him space. Teams that are prepared go, sit on Maddison if he's playing. Don't give him space to do what he wants to do. Don't be kamikaze. Don't give them room over the top for Son or Johnson to run into. And then you don't see this attacking football. It's like, as we've said before, it's lots of the ball, lots of possession, but it's very boring possession, sideways, backwards, sideways, backwards. No wingers that are prepared to run past a man. And teams like Forest, they'll say, bring that on all day because we'll cope with that, no problem.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%, man. Look, when it doesn't work, Spurs, when we attack, oh my gosh, it's awful, isn't it? Absolutely awful watch. Don't you think, Mark? Oh,
Well, it's I honestly don't know what's going on because, like, if a team plays like Forest, it's like I said 5 minutes ago, we could have still been there now and we still wouldn't have scored. It's like Karl said, it's boring. It's sideways, backwards. Go across the back two because that's all we got, and then maybe pop it up into a midfielder, then out to one of the wings. Then it will go back to our two defenders. It's we have not got a clue. If anyone plays a low block against us, we have not got the players, the wingers, to beat a man, whip the ball in, get Solanke doing what he's good at, which is heading the ball and scoring. So we'll put it this way. Forest knew how to play against us. A manager that was hounded out of our club because we thought he wasn't good enough schooled Ange, literally schooled him. Because they started with a 4 at the back, they went 1-0 up, they changed it to a 5 because he took an attacker off and he put another defender in there. So they were sitting with 5 at the back, and you notice none of them moved. You didn't see even when they were playing as a 4, you didn't see their bloody full backs 3/4 of the way out the pitch. And us. Put it this way: how many teams have you seen, right, where it's the same goals all the time, where they'll pass it down our sides or one ball over the top, and they're done for? You don't see teams do that. I watched Liverpool last night, and they were all over Leicester, even though they went 1-0 down. They were all over Leicester, but they still had 4 at the back. There was none of this inverted nonsense up the top, and they've only got 2 at the back. There was none of that.
Interesting thing as well, wasn't it? It was when Liverpool played us, they knew what they were doing. Every time that ball went to Trent, their answer was, listen, and you'll notice he wasn't even looking up. It was, if you just put the ball in this area of the pitch and we have runners, there'll be space there because their fullbacks would have come forward, left the space. And as long as we got runners from midfield and you got Salah and Gakpo doing their thing, and it's just all too easy. Each team says, and like I say, Trent Alexander was just doing it all game, getting the ball, not even looking up, just pinging it. And don't get me wrong, obviously he's great. As a passer of ball, there's not many better in the Premier League. Yeah. But he wasn't looking for a specific player. It was a specific area of the pitch that Slot had obviously, and any manager can see, stick it in that area of the pitch, have runners, and you'll get your joy from that because this team will just commit suicide. And that's what every manager's doing now.
Because to be honest, going back to like the Leicester-Liverpool game that was on, Liverpool-Leicester game that was on last night, Leicester played a lot like Forest did. They sat back, they made it difficult for Liverpool to get through. And like if we'd been playing Leicester, we wouldn't have had a clue. What was the score in the end? I don't know. I had a few beers. Was it 3-1? I thought it was 3-1, but I didn't want it to be 2-1, and I thought there was another one went in late. I thought, but eventually Liverpool kept banging on the door, and eventually they burst through it. And as soon as it got to 1-1, you knew there was only one winner. You knew it because, no, put it this way: as soon as Liverpool went 2-1 up, then Leicester have got to come out a bit. They've got to come out a bit then if they want to get something from the game, even a point. But
look, even Ruben van Nistelrooy is adjusting his team style of play.
Exactly.
Look, even he's doing it.
This is the thing that gets me with Tottenham, right? Is that doesn't matter who we play. Like in the recent weeks, we've played Southampton, bottom of the league. All right, we won 5-0. Right, but the next game was it the next after Southampton we played Liverpool, or within a couple of games, played exactly the same way. Where's the adaptation to who you're playing?
Oh, listen,
You know what I mean? There is none.
There isn't. And I if it was me setting up that game, I would have just sat in a bit more against Nottingham Forest. Let Nottingham Forest come to us. Let them take the game to us. Sit in there, keep it tight, pass it about. Let them attack us. But then we could have maybe got a goal on the counter attacks. Or you know what? Even if we'd have got a draw yesterday, that would have been something, wouldn't it? Gone up against a Nottingham Forest, an informed Nottingham Forest team, taken a point. I would have taken that. Would you guys?
Yeah, well, I think that's the biggest problem with this team, though, isn't it? It can't grind out a result.
No.
Even like I say, we would have gone to Bournemouth and taken a point, wouldn't we? We'd have gone to Forest and taken a point. And although people might still on paper say Spurs should be beating Forest and Bournemouth, but you go, right, but at the moment they're in form and they're difficult places to go. So you have to look at it as the season goes on of like, listen, don't lose away games, even if it means just take a point. Some difficult games, Forest away, Bournemouth away, difficult games, but make sure the worst you come away with is a point out of those games.
100%.
Then win the home games. And we could even accept, couldn't we? You might lose to Man City. Yeah, okay, we might lose to Man City, but we're going to beat Ipswich, Fulham, Bournemouth, all those teams for the rest of the season, or draw at least. You go, right, that's a foothold that you can build from, and you know you're going on the right track. At the moment, you, like as we said earlier before, you wouldn't even be confident we could go to Tamworth and get a result right now, would you?
No. Well, and to be honest as well, if you take the top teams out of it, your Liverpools, your Man Cities, dare I say, that lot down the road, Chelsea, no team I don't really want to say, but you take them 4 games out of it, if we lost all the games against them, home and away against them, you could accept that because, let's face it, they are better. But if we beat all the rest, we'd be 5th.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's no way on this planet I can see us finishing 5th this season. 15th, quite a possibility. But the thing is as well, you notice the times that we have sat in, right, and hit teams on the break, like we did against Aston Villa at home, and Aston Villa at home and Man City at home, when we did sit back and we did hit them on the break, because basically we had no choice, because in the games against Man City, they had about 70% of the ball. We beat them. We won all them games. And, you know, and that is only because we were forced to sit back, not out of choice by Ange, but because the other team had the bloody ball most of the time. There was no tactical changes by Ange whatsoever. It was just the team were forced back and back. And so then we had to play on the break. And we beat Man City in the cup game I'm on about. This is the League Cup game. You know,
let's sum it up as a club for us, though, at the moment, that we're saying we would take a point at Forest and take a point at Bournemouth.
well, exactly.
I mean, Dan said earlier about, sit back and let Forest attack us. Forest are never going to attack. They're a counter-attacking side anyway. But
Yeah.
Imagine, Nige, if we'd done that.
Yeah, we don't.
Imagine if we'd done that. What would they have done? What would they have done? Would it just be everybody passing backwards? What would they have done?
Exactly.
The crowd would want them to come onto us, wouldn't they?
But even if we play sensibly, we can still attack without having a stupid high line. Exactly, we can still play attacking football and be secure at the back. But the way we play, we're just so open and so easy to play against. It's getting to a point
Forest
now.
Didn't have loads of chances, did they, yesterday? They didn't have loads, but they were just.
No.
If you look at their league, they don't score many goals, or they don't concede many goals. They've just, what they're going to do: counter attack, sit in there tight, use their pacey wingers. Wood's playing really well this season, getting a number of goals, and it was just such a predictable game that I knew how this was going to play, because we all knew Ange would just never adapt. He would never adapt at all. And if you look at the league this season, we've had taken 2 points from, what is it now? Ipswich, Palace, Brighton, Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest. Sorry if I've missed any others, but that is just not acceptable, is it? 2 points for that from all those fixtures.
No, we'll put it this way. Can you imagine right? We were probably in this sort of form when Christian Gross was at the club.
Yeah.
He was hounded out. And yet, allegedly, if you go to a home game, I mean, I heard it against Liverpool when we're losing 5-1. Right? The fans were still singing his name. Why?
I don't
If I was
understand
in
that.
that stadium, there's no way I'd be singing his name. I'd be
Yeah.
singing songs about Get Levy out all
Yeah.
day long. But not Ange's name. Definitely not.
And Angelo, as we've said before, isn't we? Ange's got a cult following at
He
this
has.
club where he came in, and as it's been said before, he had the easiest job you could do. He came in after Spurs has had two of the most, if you like, cautious managers in our history that were prepared to say, listen, I just want to sit deep in it on the counter. And if we get one, then nothing more stupid than that. And what everyone was begging out for was attacking football.
Yeah.
And Ange just had to come in and say, listen, I'm going to bring the attacking football back to this club. And everyone was behind him. Oh, yeah. And he had a great start. There can be no denying it. That first 10 games under his reign, everyone was sitting there thinking, well, hang on a minute. This is looking interesting. But where I get a little bit surprised recently is I've seen streams with people that keep using these buzzwords or saying stuff like, you can see the progress, you can see the improvements, and just needs a bit more time. But none of these people can actually outline what improvements. What improvements have you seen since that first 10 games of last season that keeps you back in this manager? But none of them can expand and give you the details of what has improved or is improving. And then you just start turning to buzzwords like rebuild, project, youth. This is a youth project. And these fans don't seem to actually want to be able to sit back and go, actually, we know there are bigger problems at this club. We know that Enoch and the board are the bigger issue. But there is also an issue in the fact that the man in the dugout is out of his depth, being found out week in, week out. And yes, we need to make the changes need to come at the very top of the club, but that doesn't mean you can't accept this bloke ain't it, and we will need to get someone else in.
Carl, you're spot on, man. Because
Yeah,
honestly,
I was going to say exactly the same thing in a minute.
Yeah, look, there's two things going on, isn't there? Look, the bigger picture is Levy. We all want him out, but it's not going to happen right now. But so, what can we focus our attention on? It is the manager. For me, get Ange gone ASAP. Get another manager in, and give us some hope for the rest of the season. I'm not enjoying it. I can't stand us losing so many games. It's just for me. I know it's not straightforward, but get somebody in who can sort this team out and give us some hope. And he's just refusing to change or adapt. And look, he's moaning about the injuries, fatigue, all of that. But if you actually look at the lineup yesterday, other than a few defenders, we had a pretty strong lineup. So
well,
where
I've said
these
this,
injuries?
Dan. The injury situation, when you look at this in deeply, it's only really 1 centre half away from being what most people would argue our strongest side. Yes, the goalkeeper's out, but Foster had done well when he come in. He hasn't been horrific.
He's been man of the match in a few games.
Yeah, exactly. Kept us in games. So Dragusin has been selectable, which you sit and go, well, he was part of the three, like we've got three really good centre halves. Well, he's one of them. You got your two fullbacks who are your first starting choice fullbacks in. And then your midfield three and front three are always a mixture of what people can argue the strongest at the club. So where are these injuries that are causing us this big major concern? Yes, if you look at the bench, you can sit there and go, well, yeah, there isn't much on the bench. But in terms of starting 11 wise, you could argue, well, Maddison, Sarr, Basuma, they could be argued the strongest three at the club. Bentancur, any mixture of those three, some people would argue, well, that's the best three that we could choose from. So this injury thing is a massive myth for me at the moment.
I don't want to hear that anymore. It's just another excuse. Come on, let's be honest.
It is.
I've heard it in WhatsApp groups. I've heard it. We got injuries. What about the injuries? Injuries, my arse. This manager has had 400 million of, quote, his own choices of players.
Yeah.
His own choices, because he says no one comes in his club unless they get my say-so. And so he accepted the likes of Werner. He accepted Odegaard. When Matas at Chelsea now was available. He's injured all the time, but he's still better than, Odegaard's injured as well now. But in all his injuries, right, why do you think we got so many bloody injuries? It's because of his system. If you're running about
Exactly.
a million miles an hour for 95 minutes, 100 minutes every week, you're going to get burnt out. Why are Van de Ven's hamstrings now made out of bloody cheese and they snap all the time? You know what I mean? Put it this way. It doesn't matter if we had Van de Ven and Romero at the back. With the way we play, we could have the two best centre-backs. Who are the two best centre-backs in the world at the moment?
Oh,
I don't know. I honestly don't know. But you can insert any
left on his own every game against 4 forwards.
You can insert any two names throughout history to be our centre-backs. The two best. Two off the top of my head, Rio Ferdinand and John Terry, say. Two fantastic centre-backs. You could put them two in their prime in our back line, and the way we play, they would look foolish. They would look foolish.
It's not even that. You could have Ashley Cole and two of the best fullbacks, but because we play inverted and so high, they're always going to be out of position anyway. So
yeah, exactly.
Right,
exactly.
We could have prime AC Milan, Maldini, Baresi, Costa Curta, and we would still give up chances for fun.
Mm-hmm.
And by all accounts, from what you hear, his training is very, very intense as well. And if you've got a manager that's running his players ragged in training as well as in games, then these injuries are just naturally going to happen when you're playing once every 3 days, aren't they?
You've only got to look at what happened at Celtic. Celtic, right? Now, Celtic are a totally different team than us. They're on about the same level, but you got to remember, at Celtic, they're one of the 2 big teams in Scotland, right? I think Celtic's transfer budget is about 40% of the whole of Scotland, because whatever players they want, they just go and buy, that they can attract to the Scottish League, right? And so they have got the vast amount of the talent that they can get to recruit into the Scottish League. His system will work with a team like that. He's got to remember, we are not the Celtic of the English League, of the Premier League. We are not. We are not. We are far from it. We are far from it. When his system may have worked, it may have worked with a prime Man City. May have worked. But even then, they would have still been caught out, defensively. Because you even notice when Pep was, or he's not in his prime now, but even Pep in his prime, City never used to concede many goals. Right, they'd batter teams, but they still had that solid defence. This is where he goes completely wrong, because we haven't got a solid defence, and we won't do with this man in charge. Put it this way, if he gets sacked tomorrow, I'll be glad. I don't care who comes in. It can't be as bad as this.
Guys, let's get the league table up. Come on, let's get into it. Nige, bring it up. Let's have a look. Let's get into it. And then let's have
got the top 14 now.
No, that's fine. So
you might have to scroll down a bit to find us.
Sitting there 11th, 23 points. West Ham have caught up with us now. Look, it's not good, is it? What's the points difference from the bottom 3? Is it something like 8? I think
9
points.
We're closer to the bottom 3 now than we are the top 4.
10 from the top 4. Surely the board are looking at this now and starting to worry, starting to panic. Do they really want to give Ange any funds in January after they've seen how he's managed the team this season and last season? Anybody wants to comment on that?
Well, we'll put it this way, right? One of the main sort of criteria for our beloved chairman is European football, preferably Champions League football, because that's where the money is. That's all he's interested in. He's not interested in in us winning the league, winning an FA Cup, winning a League Cup, because the FA Cup you only get £2 million for winning it, right? And the League Cup is about less than £1 million, I think. So he's not interested in that. You know, if you get in the top four, you're guaranteed like 60 million or something ridiculous like that. So that's what he wants. He wants top four, right? And now we are currently 10 points off the top four. We're not getting that. We're not getting that. All right, last season he put up with us finishing fifth, which was a disgrace, by the way, after being top after 10 games. But, you know, I mean, the thing is with Ange, if we could see the graph going like that, slowly getting better,
Yeah,
like it did with Poch, because Poch come in and we were a bit dodgy when he first got here, but then you could see the progression. It's going like that. It's going like that with Ange. It's on a downward. It's going completely the opposite direction.
I do think I think the board don't know that everyone wants a trophy. And like I've said before, I think it's only that League Cup win over Man United that's now keeping him in a job, and the fact that we're in the semi-final. I think had we lost to Man United as well, I think after yesterday's game, they might have been actually sitting there thinking we might actually need to pull the trigger here. Because let's face it, we're not winning the Europa League. We ain't going to be good enough to go away to some of those better sides in there over 2 legs and beat those teams. We're not going to beat Liverpool in the semi-final of the League Cup. But I think what Ange does, he's a bit like Ten Hag last season, I think. He gets a win just at the right time that keeps him in a job. He had that Southampton win and then the Man United win, which for me now is keeping him in his job currently. And it's like now, he may nick a win against Wolves at the weekend that, again, will just manage to give him another couple of games. That's what I think Ange is going to do all the way to the end of the season. Just nick a win at the right time.
you don't think they're going to get rid of him, Karl?
Sorry?
Seriously, in your opinion, you don't think they're going to sack him in the next few games?
I think we're going to qualify in the Europa League, even if we end up in the playoffs.
That'd be a joke if we even end up in that.
Yeah. So I think while he's in the Europa League and the FA Cup, I think possibly he still stays in a job. I think if we'd gone out against Man United, I think that would have put real pressure on the board, but we made it through. So that gets him January, February in that competition.
There's 1 win in the league in 6.
Yeah.
1 win in 6. 6 defeats in the league out in the last 10.
Yeah.
If we lose to Wolves at home,
if we lose to Wolves at home, then I think he'll be under serious pressure.
Do you think he's actually will be gone after that if we lose that game? Because
I'm not.
Wolves, where are Wolves in the league? 15 points, so they'll be catching us up.
Like I say, for me at the moment, I just think it's that League Cup that's keeping him in a job.
I get that. What about Mark? Nige, what do you think about what Karl said?
I kind of agree. While we're in the cups, I don't think he goes.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he wasn't sacked last night after that performance. You look at that league table, we're 11th. Look how far we're off Villa in 9th. You know, it's
Manchester City are having the worst season ever, and we're still behind them.
We're not going to get in that top 7, are we? Let's be honest. We're not getting in that top 7 this year. No chance.
No
way are we getting in anywhere near that top 7th. We might finish 9th, 8th, 9th. We'll be in that 8th to sort of 12th bracket come the end of the season if we stick with Ange.
Yeah, right. And the thing is, all right, he's got the cup game, but can anybody actually see us beating Liverpool over 2 legs?
Oh, there's no chance.
Over 2 legs.
No chance.
Over 2 legs, right? Now, and the thing is with Ange as well, is we've seen it historically. Levy will get rid of the manager when the the crowd get restless in the stadium, especially at home. Because you remember what happened to who was it when all the Levy out chants and balloons were on the pitch, and the whole crowd was singing "Daniel Levy, get out of our club." And was that Conte or was that Nuno?
I think it was Nuno, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the Man United game, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was the Man United game.
Yeah,
and that is when he gets twitchy. Because let's face it, right? The manager is just another shield. It's another layer of protection on Daniel Levy. If the crowd turn on the manager, right, especially the home crowd when there's 60-odd thousand in there.
But they're not turning, are they, when we're 6-3 down at home?
No.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? Unbelievable.
Yeah, but like that, Daniel pulls the trigger when the crowd get on to him. Right, there was a protest at the last home game. What was it? 200 people turned up. I mean, put it this way, right? You could give me a choice now. Would I sooner Enoch and Levy leave tomorrow or Ange leaves tomorrow? I'm choosing Enoch every day of the week because they are the major problem at this club. They are the big fish at the top, and they are the problem because they've turned a once great football team into an entertainment arena where it's profit before glory all the time. It's all about the money now. They don't care about
Mark, but why are not enough fans doing anything about it? Or
I have no idea. It's probably because we got a great shiny stadium where the beer fills up from the bottom. You know what I mean? It's all the luxuries.
I think one of the problems is what Mark said earlier, though, as well, is because it's been turned into an entertainment venue. You're actually finding a lot of the time that stadium is half full of tourists and day trippers who have come just to see what the ground's like, come over, obviously, to support Son and hold up signs about Son and can they have his shirt. So actually, you've not got, like at White Hart Lane where you would have had a lot more just diehards in there.
The shelf side.
Who would have been letting their feelings known. Right now, those diehards are split in all areas of the ground and you can't make enough noise in there in those small sections over the day trippers and the tourists that are in the ground. So I just don't think we're ever going to get where that stadium turns as toxic as it would need to force some action, if you like.
And you've got to remember as well that a lot of the diehard fans can't afford to go anymore because they've been priced out.
No.
True. I can't.
But what I do think is with the what should I call it? The protests that we had against Liverpool, even though there was only a couple of hundred people there, I do think it would have got to Levy because he did have Netflix there, didn't he? So I think it would have made some sort of impact, even though it might have been a small one. So, I think fans should keep doing it because eventually it will have some sort of impact.
Yeah. I just want to say, just because when I said the 200 that were there, or 250 that were there, big up to all of you. If I could have attended, I would have done. Like, if I lived in London, I'd be at every single one. In fact, I've been to Tottenham and stood on the protests. Every time I go, if there's a Levy out protest, you'll see me there. Like, because he is the problem with this club, right? And a manager is another. All right, Ange is rubbish, in my opinion, but he is a level below Levy. Levy and Enoch had big problems at the club, right? They built a £1 billion stadium that was meant to get us competing. We were sold this lie when the stadium was being built. This will get us to the next level where we can compete with the likes of Man City, Chelsea, who we won't go into that, but you know, all the charges and that they're facing about dodginess has gone on. But it was going to get us to that level where we could do it legally. You know, what has actually happened? Nothing. we've gone down a youth project.
Guys, I went to the protests and I was surprised that there weren't as many people there. I really thought there'd be a big push this time.
Yeah.
But there was, possibly 200, maybe 250 there singing some of the songs they were singing, which they were even singing Ange Postecoglou at one point, and I couldn't sing that one. But look, it's disappointing, very, very disappointing. And the whole thing with the balloons got stopped as well, didn't they? A lot of them got popped. Or
do you know what though, Dan? With the
happen.
protests, I don't think those protests will ever kick off until you maybe get some of the big content creators get there and put themselves behind it. And I'm talking people like the Last Word on Spurs boys.
I saw Patrick there. Patrick Tyrant turned up.
Patrick's there. He's big. But unless you get people, say, like Ricky Sachs, the main people from that show, if they were all turning up and pumping it out on their channel.
With all their viewers, watchers,
yeah, to their viewers. People, someone like Chris Cowlin, if he suddenly was like, no, that's it, I'm behind the protests, this is what we need, then I think you'd see the numbers start growing. But, and fair play to them, I don't think they want their brands to be associated with the protests, because obviously I think they've got aspirations, haven't they, to be a little bit more kind of, I don't know, they want the club to see them as people possibly to work with, get involved with. So, yes, I know they've been kind of critical on their podcast sometimes. Yeah. But imagine if they turned up at a protest. I think it'd make a lot of people go, oh, well, hang on a minute. But while they don't throw their hat in the ring, I don't see the protest possibly being more ever than, say, 200 odd people. And like you say, fair play to them for getting there. But I don't ever see it being bigger than that, unfortunately.
No. Probably the biggest YouTuber is Expressions.
Yeah.
Expressions has got to be one of the main.
He didn't turn up, did he?
No, but like I watch any video he puts out, I watch it because I love Expressions. But he said he does talk about the ownership and he slags them off, slanders them as much as he can. But he said if he goes to the protest, it's going to be more about people wanting photos with him. And it's not actually going to do anything.
Yeah, because he's kind of like a celebrity now, isn't he?
Can you understand what I mean? Right. Yeah. You know, because like he'd be at that protest, because I'd hate to be him. Anywhere you go, people wanting photographs with you and all that. And, you know, and you've got to be in that.
Yeah.
And you've got to be in that character 24/7. You know, we all have bad days. If someone come up, you know, I'm never going to be in that position. Let's get this straight. But someone come up to me and said, oh, Mark, like, can we have a photo with you? And I was in the back, you know, I'd say, well, fuck off, you know, I can't deal with this, you know. And, but you know, he's got to be, and he said openly on his channel that if he goes there, it'll be like sing along with X sort of thing, you know. Everyone wants to say that.
Guys, I think maybe later on this next year, if you know, let's arrange it. Let's just all head down there. Let's all our contacts on YouTube, our people who support our channels. We just rock up and we do it.
Well, I know obviously Stel won't go, will he? Because he does it. Stel has obviously said a lot of people throw so much rubbish at Stel, don't they? That he's sort of said now he doesn't want to go because people have used him as a reason not to go before, haven't they?
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, well, if Stel's involved, I'm not going. But you just wonder when people are going to get to that point where they actually go, right, we do now need to try. And see, I'm of that thing, even if it don't leave, you want them to change the way things are done, don't you? It's like, listen, you need to turn your attention now to winning something on the pitch. You've made Tottenham this brilliant brand, and there's no one's going to knock you for making Tottenham this worldwide brand at the end of the day. The off the stuff pitch has been amazing. Just win something now on the pitch. Turn the attention to on the pitch.
Right, the wage structure. The wage structure is a massive issue. Massive.
But what I don't get is this fact that they haven't seemed to click and realise that if we started winning leagues and Champions Leagues, the money goes through the roof with that, as well as being this great entertainment business. It's like
it's too much of an investment to start with, though, Karl.
Well, it is, but then you get it back eventually, don't you? Like you might have to
But
pump.
it's-
Say you pump 200 million in to get these, 3 or 4 world-class players. Win the Champions League a couple of times and win the Premier League a couple of times. That money's back in the club in no time at all. Imagine
It's the
shirt and merchandise sales. You say Spurs signed someone like Bellingham, for instance. Shirt sales alone would go through the roof, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
And it's like this, they can't seem to realise being successful on the pitch would also bring you monetary value as well as all the other stuff around it.
The thing is, though, Karl, now I've heard Sean talk about this, Big Up Spurs talk show, right? He's very risk averse. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, at the moment, his main priority probably is that damn hotel that he's building, right? All right, he's going to have to outlay, what, 100 mil, 150 mil maybe to build that hotel. But he knows damn well that, all right, he's got to put that in. Because in my opinion, that's why they were looking for a backer to come in so they could build the damn thing. But once that is built, the value of that is only going to go up just for the area, just for the fact that it's in London. And then you got the thing when it's finished and done, you got, I don't know, £200-300 a night rooms that you can hire out. It's sat there. Put it this way, it's very rare that property goes down in value. And at the moment in this country, it's going, not so much in these days, but like property is sort of gradually increasing. Like if he pumps £200 million into the team, like, and say he put £500 million in, £500 million, said, here we go, you can go and get X, Y, Z. Say 5 players at 100 million each. 2 of them are duds. That's 200 million down the drain. Because knowing us, we'd spend it completely wrong and get them Belly back or something,
But that's the thing, isn't it, though, Mark? How much money has been wasted
Yeah.
on buying duds?
Yeah.
That if you'd just spent 10 million more, you'd had a guaranteed world-class player there. There's no ifs and buts.
I seen a stream. I saw a stream years ago, and it was all the players that Tottenham could have had if Daniel Levy wanted to tight arse and paid that extra 2, 3, 4, 5 million quid. People like Jack Grealish, the one we were arguing with the image rights. Fantastic. Was he a defender?
Dybala, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but was it Dybala? The one with the image rights thing. He'd virtually signed, but we wouldn't pay the image rights.
Yeah.
And the thing is, at the moment, we're going down this route of the youth policy that, all right, the 2 prime examples, Archie Gray and Bergvall. Right, they look fantastic players at the moment. Are they going to make it to the top? Who knows? We don't know. They look good at the moment, but so did Dele Alli when he come in. Look what happened to him. Dele Alli was the hottest 18-year-old in the world. People were coming in offering 80 million for him. You know what I mean? And so until they realise that we need players that's going to improve us immediately, not in 2 or 3 years, not if they come good, people that are going to turn up at the club, walk straight into the first team, whoever's got that shirt, say to them, right, that's mine now, and you got to fight to get it back. We're not going anywhere.
Great. I 100% agree, guys. I think
Dybala and Skriniar was another one. Skriniar, I've just seen it in the comments.
there's some stuff out from Ange's press conference I want to get into.
Oh,
Let's
God.
wrap up the Levy talk. Does anyone want to say anything more about Levy before we move on to that one? And then we need to get on to the Wolves game as well before we finish off.
Yeah, let's stop depressing ourselves and move on to the Wolves game.
Let's
We can
move on.
depress ourselves even more.
What I will say is that I will encourage as many people to get down to the protests when they happen. Just get down there, give it your all. It's the only way we're going to get the board to listen, to take note. The more numbers, the better. if people feel that they could just not go to games, that would be help as well. I think on our show last week, Nige, Deji said that imagine if the whole fans, or as many fans possible, boycotted 2 games. What would that do? Dan, that would take a note, but I just can't see that happening. So
Just
look,
one last thing on Levy.
of course,
Right?
Mark.
The one last thing on Levy, I will say, is that the time to get him gone is over. He's not going anywhere now.
Not
Right?
going
He has
anywhere.
built that, because basically the new stadium is a cash machine. That's all it is. It's a cash printing machine.
Yeah.
Why would you stick about, move us to Wembley for 2 years? It was only meant to be 1, but 2 years we were at Wembley, and then move us back in to this shiny new stadium that's bringing in Christ knows what, because it's not just the football, it's the boxing, the concerts, the rugby, NFL, all the other stuff is there. Oh, excuse me.
Is
Why
there an
would he?
interview with Simon Jordan coming out? Has that been released yet?
I don't know, but why would he sell now when he's got everything he wants and that stadium is making money hand over fist? It's too late to get him out now.
It's
But
too late.
if the fans could protest so he changes, and we're not an entertainment club anymore, because I went out to visit Ben not so long ago. I went to his coffee shop only about a month ago, and I was on the tube, and you just saw, and I saw the posters and adverts for the Tottenham Experience, or something it was called. It's nothing to do with football. It was to do with come and see our F1 track, come and do the Skywalk and the Abseil, come to the NFL. No, it was all these lists. Football wasn't even mentioned on it. And I was like, it's the first time I'd seen any of it. I thought, what sort of joke have we turned into?
Oh, look, it's horrible, isn't it? You just can't see any hope for the future.
No.
You really can't. And this is why we always take it back to the manager, what we can do about the manager, at least give us something this season to get into. It's just depressing. It's so frustrating. And nothing's changing anytime soon unless the protests increase, fans decide to do something about it. And even then,
I don't even think then he'll leave, because he's got everything he wants now. The money's rolling in. God knows what it is, because none of us will know. I mean, we can have a look at the reports when they come out. We can have a look at this year's next April when they come out, but he's not going anywhere. He'd be foolish to sell it now.
Anybody else want to wrap anything up about the Levy before we move on to this? What Ange has said, press conference is quite early, hasn't he? He's done it. Maybe it was after the match. I'm not sure.
I tend not to listen to him because, to be honest, I don't believe a word that he says, and he always says "mate" and a few other buzzwords.
I know. Let's just read what he says. So he was asked about Radu. He's tweaked his ankle. They don't know if he's going to be ready yet for Wolves. Obviously, we haven't got Jed Spence. He's going to be suspended. Ben Davies is out. He's not going to be available. So
and he picked up another little knock as well. He's out for a few more weeks yet.
Yeah, setback in training. That's right, Mark. Spot on. So when he was asked what options that leaves you at the back, he says, not many. We're in a tough spot and have been for a while. We've been getting through it for quite a while and keeping fingers crossed that we don't get more issues. But the nature of football and fixture scheduling means we've always been on a fine line, able to get through. It's another test for us, but whatever we need to deal with, we'll deal with and get ready for Sunday. And then he was asked, have you ever experienced this before? He said he hasn't. And then there's a question about recruitment strategy. Let's just look at that defence quickly while we're just going to part of the preview for Wolves. Who's playing on Sunday in that back line?
At this rate, it'll be Ledley King and Michael Dawson out the ambassador roles, and Gary Mabbott can cover because he's an ambassador as well. I'd love to see Gary Mabbott play, my hero, obviously, but that's who it'll be. It'll be two of the ambassadors, King and Dawes. I'd go for.
Probably do a better job.
He's going to have to bring Dorrington in, isn't he?
Yeah.
Dorrington and Gray,
Dorrington and Gray.
possibly at centre halves. Because
Yeah.
I know he put Basuma on there against Forest right at the death, but you wouldn't trust Basuma and Gray in
No.
there at all
got
game.
to
So
play
he
Dorrington.
isn't going to be left with a choice unless Dragusin can make it for that game, even if they have to sort of like, one of these injections or something just to get him through.
Mhm.
If he doesn't want to do that, then he's going to have to throw Dorrington in and give him a Premier League debut, isn't he? And then again, you've got two young players in there that you don't know how they'll cope with it.
Has says in the chat, big up Has, Dorrington wasn't even on the bench.
No.
I don't understand it, man. He should be
No.
playing. He's a centre back. Gray's not even a centre back. Dorrington should be playing. He should be.
There we go. This is spot on here.
Bet we all wished Dyer and Sanchez were still around. just terrible summer recruitment, isn't it? I all said we needed another centre back and left back. Absolutely shocking transfer window. Absolutely.
That's where we are, though, isn't it? I'm kind of thinking I'd wish Dyer and Højbjerg were still at the club, even though I wanted them out.
It's a good point.
I'd have them back in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
well, you had Ashley Phillips, didn't they, that they sent out on loan?
Another one, Karl. Yeah. Ashley Phillips. See, he could have been paid a part this season, especially with all the games. It's just absolutely between Ange, the recruitment team, absolutely terrible, and we're really feeling the effects of it now.
Well, they got rid of the best one, didn't they, for our recruitment in Paratici? Oh, I know he sort of got rid of himself, but Paratici did a fantastic job. Whether he's still involved or not, I don't know. But
I'm not sure. There's rumours that he is.
I mean, it tells you something when Lange, whatever his name is, that came in, right? Villa never thought to keep him. They were almost pleased to see the back of him. So that sort of tells you something.
Look, so what we're saying, so we're looking at Gray, Dorrington, Doggy, and Porro. And Knackered Porro will be back.
Yeah,
I actually think,
isn't it? Yeah.
I actually think he will play Basuma back there.
What,
I think, you might be right. You might be right, yeah.
Over Dorrington?
Dragusin ain't fit. I just don't think he trusts too many youngsters.
Yeah, that's right.
We obviously trusts Gray, but I don't think he trusts them both together. I don't know, I might be wrong, but
no, but for experience, I get that. For just an experience point of view.
And Basuma isn't one of those midfielders that you think, oh yeah, he could make an half decent centre half. Is he sort of like lazy, languid?
Penalty alert.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather put Bentancur back there than Basuma, wouldn't you? Or Sarr even, with his height and energy. But Basuma, you sort of go, oh my god, like there's the last person I'd want to see at centre half.
Reguilon.
Yeah.
Well, he did come on the other night, didn't
he? He looks miserable, doesn't he? Reguilon. Every time you see him at the bench, absolutely miserable. Poor bloke.
Can I just answer this? I think Højbjerg, he is on loan, but they've got an obligation to buy because wherever he did go, wherever he went, they couldn't pay us the money because of the FFP, whatever it was back then. And so we agreed that they could loan him with an obligation to buy him, so it didn't affect, they wouldn't get in trouble for the money side of it.
Yeah. Look, okay, so let's move on. So we kind of got a rough idea what the defence is. There's not a lot of choice.
It doesn't matter who the defence is, to be honest. It doesn't matter. There's only two of them there anyway.
It doesn't matter. Okay, sorry, Nige, what were you going to say?
I said that's true.
It is true. It is true. So definitely, 100%. And recruitment strategy was asked a question on. So he says recruitment strategy needs to be tweaked. He said, I still think you can be disciplined. It will depend on where we're at when the window opens and where we're getting close to that now. So we've got a clear picture of where we're at. I still think we have to be disciplined. It's not just about bringing anybody in. There's certainly a need to reinforce if we can. Everybody knows January is not easy to do that, but the club's working hard behind the scenes to see what players can help us. We've got at the moment who are giving everything in every game and dipping into every bit of energy they tried to get through. Now, for me, I see that as excuses that nothing really much is going to happen in January. Do you guys see it that same way?
That's what
I
normally
don't see
happens,
us
isn't it?
going crazy, are we? I can't see him going crazy and spending loads of money because, we know we say, oh, it's hard to do business in January, but legitimately, not many teams go out and start buying world-class players for hundreds of millions, do they? That sort of work has to be done in the summer. But yeah, I don't even think, even if there were players out there, Spurs would go and spend the right money that would have players that impact the first 11 that changes a season around.
Let's just answer this. I'd love to. I'll play. I'll put in a shift. I can still play. I'd do a
I'd
job.
have to-
Definitely do a job. And I
I'd have
wouldn't
to be
be.
left. I'd have
No.
to
I'll
be
be
left
sitting
centre
back though. I'll be sitting back. I wouldn't be doing that high line. I
No,
wouldn't listen to the manager. I'd
no.
say
And
no.
you've got to remember, I'm like 50 odd now, so there's no way I could get up and down being a fullback. I'd have to have a lie down. I'd do it once and have a lie down.
Oh dear me. So, any more thoughts on that transfer window bit? There's another question about it. Different areas. He just says,
Well,
I just think we need some help of these guys, at least 2 or 3 who are fairly long-term injuries. So we're going to be short there. Others are coming back from injuries, and you don't know how long they'll take and get up to speed. We need some reinforcements, and the club is working hard to make that happen. And then there's some question about Wolves. Sorry, is anyone wanting to say anything about that?
you wait,
Transfer?
though. You wait. Right, it'll be the same as it normally is. Right, when the window opens, we'll be linked with a top player. Right, and it will drag on and drag on. Then it'll get up to like the 27th of January, 28th of January. Still not signed him. Still not signed him. Then it'll be, we tried FC.
Yeah.
We tried, and we'll end up with someone we've never heard of. That'll be like the 5th choice. That's what always happens.
There's no links, though, is there? Has anyone seen any links? Any solid links? I'm not seeing
Not
anything
major,
much.
not to players that you'd suddenly sit there and
Right.
go, oh yeah, it'd
Yeah.
definitely change our season if you was to get him. Yeah,
Nothing. It's dead, isn't it? Quiet.
Ryan
But
Nelson.
I think
Is Ryan Nelson still around?
I
He's
think
just
that's a
centre half, I
general
mean.
thing, though. There's not a lot of links to many teams I haven't seen. Cunha has been linked, isn't he? The Wolves player. I've heard a few people are interested in him. He's a
I
forward,
can't see
right?
Wolves letting him go though in
no.
January because he's
they-
key to their survival, isn't he? So there's no chance anyone's
Massive
getting
offer
him out
only.
of there.
Not unless you massively overpay for him.
Yeah.
Kulu, Mwani. I mean, we could have him. He could do a job.
He was linked to Arsenal as well, though, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So I think, given the
Is he
choice,
going to want to come to us, our relegation fight? I don't think so.
No.
Look, okay, let's just carry on with the press conference and then we'll just kind of go over the Wolves game quickly. Last season, Wolves really challenged you. This was the question to him. What do you expect from them this weekend? Another good game for us, good challenge for us. Obviously, a new manager in Victor, who I know pretty well as we crossed paths in Asia a couple of times. They had a great result last night. They beat Man U, didn't they? Fantastic result. They definitely had some quality players in there who can hurt you. And we saw that last year. It'll be a good challenge for us. A really important game for us back at home. We're getting through this period as best we can, but we certainly need to go out there on Sunday, play our football and get a result to make sure we get some momentum going into the new year. Now, Wolves' new manager. Does anybody know that manager of the Wolves who they brought in?
Not massively, no.
No.
He started off well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
2
We had
wins,
the
isn't that right?
Had the right team to play though, didn't they? United as we saw, a bit flaky, aren't they? A bit like us United this year, aren't they? You never know what you're going to get, and it's going to take that Alma in a few transfer windows and a big summer to sort them out.
Yeah. But this is a good point, though, Karl. Say if we did change our manager, it doesn't mean it's going to go swimmingly. Look, we can see what's happened there because Man United have got a good players. There's no doubt about it. A talented squad, and they're struggling even with the change of manager. So nothing's ever a given, but I would still take the risk of changing manager.
Yeah.
Well, it can't be any worse, can it? Do you know what I'd personally do with the manager? I'd be straight down to Paul and I'd beg Harry Redknapp come back for 6 months. Just come and help us out for 6 months. Get Harry Redknapp back, because as soon as he came in, right, and he didn't have the tools that Ange's got to work with, he got us solid. There we go. I didn't even read that, Has. I didn't even read that, Has. And I
I said it
promise
as
you
well.
that. Yeah, there we go. I'd be straight down to. He lives in Sandbanks in Poole, apparently.
Yeah, it's not bad down there.
No, it's. I had a drive round there, mate. It's not too far from me. I had a drive round there. My goodness.
Look, I don't think Harry's coming back now. I think he's finished. I know it'd be an ideal person to come back, but
Yeah.
there's not. Look, it's just so many issues, isn't it? Really. Let's go back to the press conference. How have you seen anything different about Wolves under their new manager? He says, I don't think so. I think it's more sometimes a new manager comes in and gets a reaction from the players and they kind of release that and they get a new opportunity to show themselves. And I think you just see the best version of them, I guess. Like I said, irrespective of their form, you always knew they had quality players in there who can hurt any teams. We were coming back last night, so we didn't have a look at the game, but they had an impressive victory, and I'm sure they'll be coming here full of confidence. Now, guys, let's just jump into that Wolves game. Let's everybody. Nige, what do you think of that Wolves game?
Another tough game. You just can't predict Spurs. That's the problem. I can't see where our next win's coming from at the moment. We lost to Wolves twice last season, didn't we, in the league? Didn't they beat us 2-1 both times? So, yeah, I can't. I find it difficult to predict a Spurs win. It's going to be another tough game. And Wolves are suddenly, like you say, new manager bounce, 2 wins on the spin.
Hungry.
For me,
Looking
if we
hungry.
lose this, that's got to be it, surely.
So you think we'll lose, Nige?
I think I can't see us winning. I can't see where a win's coming from. So
We don't do
yeah,
draws.
I think we'll lose. I think it'll be a tight game, 2-1 maybe.
Karl?
Do you know what? This is one of them games where I think, like as we say, Ange will pick up a win at some point that eases that pressure on him. And this could be one of those sort of games where, and don't get me wrong, it won't be because we'll outplay Wolves or be the better side. They might even be the better side, but we might end up just nicking it 2-1 or something like that. They'll definitely score because we give up defensively. We give up so many chances. And as we've seen with Ipswich and teams that come to us, they'll definitely score. You could be looking at something like a 3-2 or something like that to Spurs. But I just think Ange will nick a win. And right now, because we think the pressure's on him, this could be the game where he nicks a win, where again everyone starts to go in. See, you're missing the point. You see, this, and you just need to give him time. So I think he's going to nick a win, and I think it could be something like a 3-2, where Wolves are the better side, but we come out of it with the win.
So you're predicting a win, Karl?
I think I'm going to predict Andy's going to nick a win that's going to keep him in that job a bit longer.
It's a winnable game, but again, it's a losable game. We've seen the likes of Ipswich come up here and beat us, and Fulham play very well.
You never know. I'll put it this way: I wouldn't put my mortgage on it. That's for sure.
No, you just can't predict it. So, look, if we do lose that, that's 3 losses on the trot. Mark, what's your prediction on that Wolves game?
Oh my goodness. Who knows? You just want to chuck darts at a dartboard. I mean, we may win, but just as easily we may lose.
Do you want us to lose so Ange gets sacked? I know it's not nice ever wanting your team to lose.
It's difficult because I never want us to lose anything.
No.
You know, I always want us to win. Can I see us winning though? No, I can't. But can I see us losing?
Yes.
Look, we're at home. We are at home. So
final game of the year.
Final game of the new year. You know, I mean, I do agree with Karl. Ange seems to have this knack of like sort of nicking a win that will keep him safe for a few more weeks. You know, like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't turn over Liverpool in the first leg of the semi-final. You know, and everyone thinks, oh, Spurs are on the way to Wembley, and then we go to Anfield and get gubbed 5-0 or something, you know. So it's easy for me to sit on the fence. Sit on the fence with a draw, 4-4.
Do you know what though? What was funny, Dan, when you said about, oh, would you want Spurs to win to get rid of Ange? No
Yeah.
one wants us to lose
No.
games, obviously. But it was
course.
like that Liverpool game. Once they got 4 and 5, you are sitting there, and a part of you thinks, you know what? Just go and get 7 or 8, because now I want this defeat to be as bad as it can be, so
Totally
that
understand that.
it looks bad for the club, and they go, oh my god, what's just happened? We've been beat by 8 at home. Oh my days! Like,
A lot
we're
of
a
fans are
laughing
thinking
stock.
this way. We've seen it in the WhatsApp groups. A lot of people are talking like this. You know, let's just lose just to get Ange gone. But you know, you always want your team to win, whatever. But I get it. I get why people are feeling that way, because we've just had enough. Had enough of
I think
Ange.
once you know I think if in a game you want to win every game, but I think once you know you are losing, then it becomes that thing of like, do you know what? Now I want to lose badly, because that is gonna shine an even bigger light on the manager and the club. And hopefully you think that those things might spark people into, listen, we need to turn this around now. Something needs to change. But I'd like to say, I think Ange will get the win that buys him a couple more weeks, and on Monday everyone will be, see, it's a project, and you lot who don't want to give Ange time. Oh,
That was it. The fan takes over in you, doesn't it? It's like when Liverpool
yeah.
went 5-1 up, I was like, come on, Liverpool, hit 7 or 8. But then when we got back to 5-3, I'm like, oh, come on, Tottenham.
You never know. You never know. Just get another one.
As soon as they got to 6, but that was it. I was like, come on, Liverpool.
Yeah.
Look, I don't even. So let's go for my prediction. I don't know. So Nige just said defeat. Mark and Karl, you've said we're going to probably nick a win. I'm
No, I said 4-4. I said 4-4 draw.
You said a draw. Okay, so you said we've got a loss, we've got a win and a draw. So what am I going to say? Oh, this is what I mean, guys. Look at us. We all just coming up with different what people in the chat. I think there's a lot of defeats in the chat. I'm looking there, a lot of defeats. I think it's going to be a tricky game. I think I got a feeling that we might just nick it. Because of the pressure everyone's under. The fans will, they'll be behind the team. The players have got a point to prove. Ange has massive points to prove. So I think that Wolves are not. I know they've won the last 2 games. Who did they beat? Man United, and who did they beat away from home? Was it like 3-0 or something? They beat. Who was it?
They beat
someone. Leicester. Okay,
Leicester,
so
yeah.
Not the best teams. We're not in the best team at all at the moment. We're in dreadful form. It's like a relegation scrap, isn't it, on Sunday? Honestly, the form we're in is relegation form.
Yeah.
Right? Look, let's be honest here.
It has been for a while.
Relegation form.
It has been for months.
It's a 6-pointer.
Someone said on a stream earlier, I think it was on Sava's stream, that since February we are bottom 3.
Exactly. Yeah.
Form.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. So it's going to be one of those. I think we'll probably just nick it, and it will give Ange a bit more time.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we lose, I think that it'd be such a perfect time to change that manager going into the new year. The January transfer window opens, give the new manager a few players, and then we go. That's what I hope happens, that we change that manager ASAP. Ange he just doesn't adapt. He doesn't want to change. He's partly to blame for all the injuries. The board are to blame for that shocking transfer window. And it's just an all big mess. I'm sick of it. I've had enough of it. And I'm not looking forward to watching Spurs. It's just horrible right now. Really, really bad. And guys, if you think back, when was it really this bad? Like Mark, you said earlier, was it under the bloke who turned up on the train?
Christian
Santini.
Christian
Gross. Who's the one who turned up on the train? Was it Gross or Santini?
Yeah, Gross with his train ticket.
Gross had the freedom pass, didn't he?
Yeah.
He did. So it's that bad, isn't it? It's that even Sherwood was doing better than Ange.
Yeah.
That says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And we have got a good. Oh, guys, nice. Just take over 1 sec. I've got a phone call.
Yeah, no worries, mate. I don't know what to say now. So
the thing is, though, Nige,
go on.
The thing is, though, Nige, right? You cannot say Ange hasn't been treated better than most of the other managers we've had, because he's got the tools at his disposal. he just keeps playing square pegs in round holes, and he won't play to our strengths. Put it this way: can you imagine Conte? Right, if Conte was still here, I know all the fans hounding him out. If Conte was still here with the back five we got now, he'd love it. He'd love it. Romero, Van der Ven, Dragusin, Porro and Udogie. For a start, Porro and Udogie are wing backs. That's what they were bought for his system. Right?
Yeah.
And so we know both of them aren't the greatest defensively, but in a wing back setup, you don't have to be the greatest defensively, because your job is to go forwards. Like Conte would absolutely have loved this back five that we got. And plus, they won't be injured all the bloody time because Ange basically runs them into the ground.
That's it.
And so, but what I say, really, we got the perfect team now for a Conte system. But unfortunately, he's not here, and we got someone else.
Yeah, I don't actually. A lot of it, I don't. Obviously, I put all the blame on Ange for the way we're playing, but I don't. I actually don't think the players that were signed were particularly his players. I know he signed them off as his, and this is why I think whoever we sign, if we sign people in January, they won't particularly be for Ange. They'll be for Ange and the next manager coming in. I think there'd be club signings. But yeah, Ange needs to adapt the way he plays. He's got players that we could get so much more out of if he played them in the right positions and played the system better.
You look at Maddison yesterday when he come on. Maddison was playing in number 8 role. Maddison was a lot deeper than Kulu. I did notice that during the game. Maddison was sort of sat in the centre of midfield. He's not that. He's a number 10. It's like I said, Ange just put square pegs in round holes all the time.
Our players are looking worse, aren't they?
They are.
Which we rated.
There's not one player. There isn't one player that you can say Ange has improved. Maybe Kulusevski, maybe. But that's only because
Kulu's improved himself because he's got that mindset and that attitude that he wants to be the best.
Kulu is improved because he's actually playing in his preferred position now. Because as soon as he come in, he said, I'm a number 10.
Yeah, but he's got that mindset as well, isn't he? That all top players have, that he wants to be the best.
I don't know, guys. It's all not good, is it, at the moment? Like it's been a really good stream, guys. Big up to everybody in the chat as well for getting involved. Look, we've had all have had a bit of a moan, haven't we? I don't know if everyone feels a little bit better, got a bit off their chest, or
everyone feels better after these, don't they?
Yeah, I think it was good. It was good. Good little moan. Look, guys, we've got a show. Beyond the Lane is on Monday, right, Nige? 7:00. And
it is.
We haven't got any planned guests. We're going to put the link in the chat. So anybody wants to jump on throughout the show, we'll probably go for a couple of hours.
You on Monday this week? Because you're normally on Tuesday, aren't you?
Yeah, but we're not going. I've got plans New Year's Eve.
So we are actually doing a stream New Year's Eve. So we'll probably all be pissed up and happy days again.
Good fun, man. I hope it's a good one. So yeah, we're going on Monday 7. We're just anybody can jump on for a bit, have a moan about Spurs. Obviously, we'll be kind of reviewing that Wolves match and looking ahead to the new year. Nige, anything you want to say on that Monday stream?
No, I may be getting. Well, I've actually ordered a quiz book from Amazon. So if we get a few people on, I might do a little quiz as well once we've done the Wolves stream. Yeah, so a bit of fun as well. A bit of moaning and then a bit of fun.
Mark, Karl, if you're around, jump on for a bit whenever. It's fine. We'll put the link in the chat to in the groups, and let's see what happens. Sometimes these streams, when you just don't really plan much, can be a bit fun. So we will see what happens. And look, who knows how we're going to be feeling after Sunday. Cool, guys. I think let's wrap it up unless anyone wants to bring up anything else before we close off the show.
No, you're all good. You're all good.
No.
All good.
Thank you for having me on. Thank you for
Yeah.
having me on. And everybody, please subscribe to these two fantastic channels.
And
Subscribe
please
to everyone.
subscribe.
Subscribe to
Yeah.
Dan and Karl as well, and of course the Sheriff on Die
Spread the
Hard.
love.
Please do. Please subscribe to us all. And thanks everybody for watching. Thanks, Mark, Karl, for jumping on with us. And
Pleasure.
well, there'll be many more streams ahead. And yeah, we'll keep it going into the new year. But look, let's shut it down now. Everybody enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll catch up with you all soon. Take care.
So,
Pure coins, singing from the stands. Pure coins, everybody raise your hands. Pure coins, pure coins, pure coins.